United States has a certification program under which country will be certified. Each country will be certified, and certified countries can export to United States the wild-caught shrimp, right? So for certifications, you do monitoring of how the TED is being used by the fishing boats in the country from where it is exported. In our case, it is India.
Right.
So our Indian enforcement agencies has to ensure that the TED, as per the correct specifications, are used by the fishing boats, especially the shrimp trawls. So how do they measure or how do they inspect? If I am an enforcement agency person, how do I measure whether the TED is of correct dimensions and is compliant with the law?
So there's a few simple measurements that they would take. So first thing, when enforcement boards a boat, they would hang the TED up like this vertically, and then the first thing I do is I check the angle. I have an angle meter that I put in here, and I check to make sure it's at 55 degrees. And then I check each bar spacing to make sure each bar spacing is less than 4 inches. Then after that, I would measure this cut here to make sure it's compliant. Double cover, it would be 56. And then on a double cover, you have an overlap here, and that can't exceed 15 inches stretched here. And then the side cut on a double cover is 20 inches. On the 71, this is 26 inches. And on the 71, the forward cut would have to be 71 inches. And then this flap can't exceed 24 inches in length.
Okay.
Those are the basic simple measurements. And if it's a bottom opening TED, it must have flotation, and flotation is different for the different size TEDs, how much is required.
So you say that usually the opening of the TED is on top. So you are saying that you can have a bottom opening TED also.
Yes.
So will it allow the turtle to escape as good as a top opening?
Yes, it will. It's allowed. It passed our certification protocol. The escape times on bottom opening TEDs we found were about 30 seconds to a minute more for the size turtles that we used in our certification tests, which were small 2-year-old head start loggerhead sea turtles.
All right, Jeff. I hear questions from fishermen about the TED. They feel that if they have a fear that if you keep the TED, your fuel consumption will be more, and if your fuel consumption is more, naturally your expenditure also goes up. So does it happen? In your experience, does it happen?
Yeah, actually, the addition of the TED itself, as far as causing more drag, it's negligible. So what the TED will actually do is, through excluding large items like sharks and rays and debris and these larger fish or other things like jellyfish, it will actually improve fuel consumption because there will be less drag on the net while it's being towed. So the advantages are better fuel consumption, wider area fished because the net won't close up over time as your catch builds up in the back of the net, and also better quality catch because it won't have large items damaging, and quicker sorting times on deck, and better quality catch all the way around.
Great. So sometimes fishermen, when they do fishing, they get, without troll, they get a lot of rays and sharks also. Mm-hmm. So if you are using TED, will they be able to catch those fishes also, or will these fishes escape through the TED?
Larger individuals of those species will escape. Some smaller ones will still go through the 4-inch bars, but as you can see, it's just a mechanical separation device. If it's larger than this, it's going to go out. So in the U.S., these are unwanted species. It's a shrimp fishery, so our fishermen don't want those. Stingrays are dangerous. They have spines that can sting you, and then sharks have teeth, and then also they damage the catch if they're caught. So in the U.S. we don't have those. So yes, the larger individuals will not be retained, but then that's part of the added value of reduced fuel consumption and less damage to your shrimp catch.
So what you are essentially saying is that when you are using TED, you will get more shrimp and your value of the catch is better and your cost is coming down because you use less fuel.
Yes, and you would also still retain small fishes as well. The fishes that can pass through, you'll still retain those.
Still retain, okay. Yeah. See, another question the fishermen had was, sometimes when they get good catch, the cord end of the trawl net gets full. Mm-hmm. So if the cord end is full, then the fish or shrimp can escape through the tail. So how do you solve this problem?
The solution to that would be is just to add another piece of extension like this with no TED in it. Just add another length of net behind, and you can add as many of those as you like. Anything behind the TED does not affect the function of the TED. So you can add as many straight tubes of webbing as you like to accommodate as much catch as you feel you need to plan for.
Okay, see, I see these white ropes which are used to fix the net to the frame. So what is this? What is the material used, and what is the advantage of this material?
So this is a nylon rope, and we had that because we had a lot of that on hand here. We use this for training, but the grid is installed with heavy twine. That's one of the requirements, that the grid is installed in here with heavy twine, and then it's wrapped with this. This is simply a chafing rope. This TED is going to bang against the side of the boat or get drug around on deck. Then this rope protects this heavy twine that's hung in here and helps maintain the TED. So this is a protection mechanism, and on the bottom, if it rides on the seafloor, it will protect the bottom of the TED. So we use this for training, but we typically can use this. This is a polypropylene rope, so it's similar to this. This is what we like to use in the U.S. We have a yellow one with a blue tracer, but it's very similar to this, same material. So this could be used as a chafe rope to wrap, and you can wrap it as closely as you like. And this was one of our students built this, and they did a good job on it.
Yeah.
I would generally wrap it tighter back here, but over time, I'm sure people will learn best construction.
Very good. See, what's the diameter of this this nylon rope, or if it is a polypropylene, what should be the diameter?
We use a 3/8 inch is what we use.
It's about 10 mm.
Or a ½ inch, yeah, it depends. Yeah. It depends on the size of your webbing. If you're going to adjust the mesh size and the extension, you got to have a size rope that's going to accommodate the mesh size you're going to go through. So if you end up going with smaller rope, you're going to have to go with a smaller smaller mesh size, you have to go with a smaller diameter rope.
See, we have been discussing about the use of TED so that turtles will be allowed to escape and more turtles will be in the turtle population will not be damaged, or conservation will be happening. So in your experience with the United States conservation program, turtle conservation program for the last, I would say 30 plus years, 1980s onwards, you are doing this. Have you seen any impact? What is the impact on the turtle conservation in terms of the number of nesting size increased, the turtle population increase after the use of TED was implemented?
So when the Endangered Species Act was passed in 1978, that's when it became illegal to catch turtles in the United States. At that time, turtle populations were decimated. The estimates were greater than 10,000 deaths a year. That was the initial estimates. So to give an example of the impact of TEDs, I'll use the Kemp's Ridley population in the Gulf of Mexico. At the time, before TEDs were implemented, there's an index nesting beach in Rancho Nuevo, Mexico, that had historically had 50,000 nesters a year on that beach. And that same beach was down to 700 nesters in a single season. So the population had been decimated. After TEDs were implemented, now today that same beach has over 25,000 nesting turtles on it, and we see small turtles all over the place in the Gulf of Mexico now like we've never seen before. Fishermen comment that they see turtles where they've never seen turtles before.
Oh, that's great. From 700 nesting sites, it has increased to
Over 25,000.
over 25,000. That is the impact of using the TED excluders.
Yeah, we credit that with the turtle excluder device. I'm sure other conservation measures contributed, but this was a big one because it was such a high mortality on the species.
So what is as a fisherman, what is the impact on fisheries from the use of TEDs? Because you were saying that turtles are a keystone species, and by conserving the turtles, you will be protecting other species, including the fisheries. Am I right?
Yes, so it has a conservation. If you exclude other things, larger fish and other size fish that are of spawning size, you are going to protect other fish stocks as well. And it's not only sea turtle conservation, but conservation for many other organisms.
See, by using the TED, does the fisherman experience, in your experience with other countries, does the fisherman experience any catch loss?
So we've tested these devices extensively in the United States, and other countries have tested them as well. And the shrimp loss associated with these devices, when configured properly, is negligible. It would be 1% or around that. So essentially no significant catch loss, and the other improvements that we talked about offset any of that.
Right. I think the same results we also got in India, because the Central Institute of Fisheries Technology, they were doing trials with their research vessel initially. Then they did trials with the commercial fishing boats here in different parts of India, in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh. And they are also getting a similar results as far as catch loss is concerned. Around very negligible fish loss is there. So using the TED is a win-win situation for the fishers as well as the environment in general. That's what I would say. Friends, that's a good news. By conserving the turtles, you are going to conserve the other species also, including the fishes which our fishermen are fishing for their livelihood and trade. So thank you very much, Mr. Jeff Gerhardt, for providing us all the information and training our fishermen during the last 1 week. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our pleasure.